With spreads from just 0.8 of a pip, ActivTrades sponsors the Forex Report.
Absorbed as we are by the delights of the show, we always have to remember that there is a big bad world out there. By the time this programme is broadcast, the people of Italy will have chosen a new government, and it could even be led by the one and only Silvio Berlusconi. Win or lose, what impact will the result of the election have on the euro and the markets? Riccardo Evangelista from ActivTrades has been gazing into his crystal ball for us.
Well, I think the centre-left party of Bersani will win this election, but this victory will not mean a majority in all the chambers. So essentially they will have to look for alliances, probably with the current party in power of Mario Monti's, the centre-right party. And all this uncertainty more than likely will lead to instability, because it's a mix that doesn't naturally gel. You see the right and the left trying to get together, dealing with a situation that requires a quick solution, and this solution passes by a reform of the welfare state, and as you can imagine, the right and the left will have different views on this. Also, we're looking at a number of reforms that need to be done. We're looking at talks regarding corporate tax that needs to be lowered to attract more businesses. There have been businesses leaving Italy because of that. So essentially we're looking at a period of uncertainty. We're looking possibly at a repetition of the scenario we encountered in the 80s, whereby we had new Italian governments coming along every 6 months. There was political instability taking to its extreme. So we could go back to those times. If we do go back to those times, then we'll be facing a situation highly detrimental to the Italian economy, and as a consequence probably won't be good for the euro, so we can see the euro suffering.
I mean, that's obviously going to be one of the larger concerns for people watching this programme, the impact that it's going to have on the euro. How significant could Italian instability be in terms of the euro in general?
Well, it can be very significant. Well, firstly, it can, in terms of problems for Italy itself, it can be quite a burden on the euro. So imagine if Italy comes to a situation where it needs to be bailed out. We're talking about an economy that is several times larger than Greece or Portugal or Ireland. So this could be a big problem. But more generally, it means that the current climate of uncertainty about the euro will be maintained, and that will translate itself into less of a risk for appetite, less of an appetite for risk. So people will trade more conservatively. So people will be risk averse, and you see people selling off the euro and taking refuge, say, the US dollar possibly.
So would you encourage people, or would you advise them to perhaps be a bit careful where the euro is concerned, maybe leave it alone for a while? I mean, what should they do?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say leave it alone, because a trader wants movement. I mean, you can only profit if there's movement. If there's stagnation, you won't make any. Okay, you won't lose, but you won't win. So I'd say trade the euro if that's what you want to trade, of course. But trade it being aware that there is instability, and therefore the market will be volatile.
Finally, there is a possibility that Mr. Berlusconi may be involved in a new coalition government. Would that make the markets even more nervous, do you think?
It can make the markets even more nervous if a coalition involving Berlusconi becomes unstable in its structure and collapses, definitely. And Berlusconi, we all know it's a larger than life character. He's had a strange approach to this election, so he's been promising to refund. So he sent every household in Italy a letter where he says he will abolish a certain tax, and he even promises to refund the payments that have already been made. So essentially he's trying to buy votes. So he's quite a controversial candidate. And if the centre-left party wins the election, he'll be a somehow volatile combination, I would say. So that is likely to bring even further instability, yes.
Ricardo, that's great. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
With spreads from just 0.8 of a pip, ActivTrades sponsors the Forex Report.